Hello and welcome to this movement and mobility class with me, Jordan B of Jordan B Healthy. Today we are going to work on spine health, specifically the upper back, and shoulder health and mobility. So what you'll need for this class is a yoga mat or towel. Optional, of course, you'll need either some dumbbells or some light weights. Soup cans work great. And then another option is to have a band, either one of these loop resistance bands or a long TheraBand. Any sort of long band will work just fine. So we are going to get started with 4 mobility moves followed by 2 strength moves, and we are starting down on the floor. So our first move we're going to do is a child's pose, slide and lift. So you're going to start in child's pose. If sinking back towards your heels is hard on your knees, you can sit on a yoga block, a pillow. A yoga block or a pillow will also be helpful if you have some limited shoulder mobility, because then you can rest your head on that yoga block or pillow to give you a little more space. So grab those items, join me on the floor. For our first exercise, child's pose, slide and lift. I'm going to show you kneeling first. What you're going to do is start in child's pose. You're going to bring one arm up, sliding it along the floor. Then you're going to lift it off the floor, return to the floor, slide down. So it's going to look like slide, lift off the floor, back to the floor, down. And we're going to alternate arms for this first set. Okay, so grab what you need, whether that's a pillow, yoga block, yoga mat, or just your body down on the floor. I'm gonna start the timer here. We're gonna go for 30 seconds before we switch to our next move. Here we go. Go ahead and bring those knees wide, toes together, sink back into child's pose, forehead down to the floor. Arms are in. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, slide and lift. Return the arm back down. Slide and lift. You want your thumb facing up towards the ceiling as you do this. So you're in child's pose, forehead is down, slide the arm, lift, back down to the floor, slide in. And if you are having trouble with this, grab a yoga block or pillow. Rest your forehead down on that and then give that a try. We got 3, 2, and 1. All right, we are going to come on up to all fours. Shoulders are over our wrists, knees are under our hips, and we are going to do a cat-cow. In 3, 2, and 1. Drop the belly down, reach your heart up, push the floor away. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin to your chest, round. So those are your 2 moves, cat and cow. Drop the belly down, lift the heart up, press the floor away, round the back. So this is your beginner-friendly option. As we keep going through this move, I'm going to show you some advanced variations. One more time, drop the belly down. One more time, push the floor away. Go ahead and return to your child's pose. We're going to go back to that slide and lift. Here we go for 3, 2, and 1. Slide the arm, lift off, back down and in. Slide the arm, lift off, back down and in. Now, if you're struggling with this, again, rest your forehead on a yoga block or pillow. If you're still struggling, make sure you bring your arms wide like you're doing the YMCA. The closer your arms are in towards your ears, the harder it's going to be. Do one more on each side. Slide and lift, and then come back up to our cat and cow. Taking all fours position. We're going to get going in 3, 2, and 1. You can either stick with this regular cat-cow, or what I want you to do is start in a neutral spine, start from your head, tuck your chin, push the floor away, and try to move one vertebrae at a time. So your tailbone is the last thing to tuck. Now you're going to do the same thing. Lift your head, drop the shoulder blades, drop the belly, bring the tailbone up. And only Move starting with your head first, one vertebrae at a time. One more. And relax. Shake out those wrists if you need them. We're going to go through that 2 more times each. Go ahead and start in a nice wide child's pose. Maybe your forehead is resting on that block. We're going to get going here in 3, 2, and 1. Slide the arm, lift, back down and in. Slide the arm, lift, back down and in. Make those adjustments if you need it. For example, yoga block or pillow, your forehead is resting on it. Maybe you're bringing those arms closer to your ears or farther away out in that Y shape. Either way, your thumbs are facing up towards the ceiling as you slide and lift. We got one more on each side. Before we come back to that all fours position. Find your all fours position. We're going back into our cat and cow. This time, if you want to do a more advanced variation, you're going to start with the tailbone. So we're going to bring the tailbone up, drop the belly down, drop the shoulders, lift the head. Then we're going to reverse from the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone, round the low back, move up in between the shoulder blades. Last thing to go is your head. From here, tuck the tailbone, drop the belly down. So it's like your spine is doing the wave, and we're always starting with the tailbone first. We're moving vertebrae by vertebrae. And the tailbone up, drop the belly down. If you're going into that cow pose, when you go into that cat, start by tucking the tailbone. Slowly move up through the shoulders. Last thing that goes is the head. One more of each of those. You start with the tailbone, your head is the last thing to go. Round the tailbone, head is the last thing to go. All right, we got one more time with each of those moves. So sink back into your child's pose. Forehead is down. Get ready to slide and lift that arm. Here we go, slide and lift. Slide and lift. Slide and lift. You're alternating your arms. You're keeping your forehead flat on the ground or the yoga block. Go ahead and do one more on each side. Come on up back to center. Okay, we're gonna end with one more cat and cow. You can either stick with that normal variation where you're just moving your whole spine at one time, or we're going to alternate between starting with our head and starting with our tailbone. So start in a neutral spine, flat back. You can either push the floor away, arch, drop the belly down, round, or join me and we're going to start with our head. Tuck the chin, pull the shoulder blades apart. Slowly round until the last thing to round is your tailbone. Now from here, we're going to reverse the wave. Start with the tailbone, round up, drop the belly down, pinch the shoulder blades together, lift the head, reverse, head tucks, shoulder blades, mid back, low back, tailbone. You're rounded. Here we go. Bring the tailbone up, drop the belly down, shoulder blades, head lifts. One more time each way, head. Slowly make your way down the spine until last thing to run is the tailbone, and then reverse. Tailbone reaches up, belly, shoulder blades, and head. Good. Come back to center. Shake out those wrists if you need to. Got a little bit of a breather while I talk you through the next 2 mobility exercises. So coming up, we have a shoulder CAR. CAR stands for controlled articular rotation. So what we're going to be doing is working on the shoulder joint, getting it to rotate in its socket. So you can either do this lying flat on your belly or kneeling in all fours. I'm going to show you before I lay down. What you're going to do is bring your knuckles with your palm facing forward behind your ears. So my palm is forward, knuckles are behind my ears. You're gonna pull that elbow back, keeping it lifted as you extend your arm and rotate around so that your knuckles come right behind your hip. So this is gonna be your palm facing out. From there, you're going to lift the elbow, keep that arm lifted, raise it up, rotate around, come so that your knuckles are behind your ear and your palm is facing forward. So we're just rotating back and forth. And you can do this kneeling in all fours, lifting, extend, rotate, lift, extend, rotate, or laying flat on the floor. This is going to be better if you have some wrist issues, if kneeling is putting a lot of pressure on them. Same thing, lift, extend, rotate, get those knuckles behind your hip, lift, extend, rotate. So find what variation works best for you, either kneeling or laying flat, and we're going to get started here in 3, 2, and 1. Bring the elbow up, extend the arm, keep that arm lifted as much as you can as you rotate so that your knuckles come to your hip, your palm is facing up. Lift, extend, rotate around. Lift, extend, rotate around. You want to keep that elbow raised until you get into position with your knuckles resting. Then you can relax. Then you're going to lift again, extend, rotate, 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 down. I'll show you laying flat, lift, rotate. On the floor, it's going to be a little bit harder on the shoulder joint, but it will feel better on the wrist if you're having some difficulties kneeling. Extend, rotate, 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 around, lift, extend, rotate. Keep that arm high. I know the shoulder's getting tired. Finish up this last one. Ending with your hand behind your ear. And then relax. We are going to switch over to the other side. I'm going to rotate around. I'll start laying down so you can see. Bring the knuckles behind the ear, palm is facing down. From here, lift the elbow up, keep it high. As you straighten the arm, rotate it around. Now your palm is facing up. And bring your knuckles to your hip. Lift the elbow, keep it high. Extend the arm, rotate. Palm is touching your head, knuckles are behind the ear. And you're just moving back and forth between these two positions. Whether you're kneeling or laying down, finish up this last rep. And then come back to center. We are going to flip around onto our backs now as we do a snow angel. So once again, I'm going to show you seated. You're going to be laying on your back. You're going to start with your arms out in this goalpost position. The main goal of this is to keep your back flat on the floor and get your forearms down to the floor as much as you can. So keeping them flat on the floor as you slide the arms up. Slowly pull them back down. Again, you're always pressing your forearms back down to the floor. Once you get back to this goal post position, you're going to flip them and slide them down the floor. So we're going to slide up to 90 degrees, rotate, palms up, slide down to 90 degrees, rotate, palms down, slide. So laying flat on the floor, on your back. Here we go. Start in your goal post position with your arms. Pushing your forearms down to the floor, keeping your back from arching. We don't want to be archy. You're going to slide your arms up. Keep your forearms pressed flat to the floor. Bring them down to 90 degrees. Rotate your palms down to the floor. Slide them down. Hold the elbows up to 90 degrees. Rotate. Slide them up. Rotate arms down. flip down, slide down, slide up, rotate palms up, slide up. So we're going back and forth between these two positions. Take it slow. Remember, you're trying to keep your back from arching off the floor, and you're trying to push your forearms down to the floor at all times. Should be feeling a good stretch through the shoulders, through the chest muscles. Let's do one more of each of these. And then we're gonna flip around either back to your belly or onto your all fours as we do those lift offs. Okay, forehead down to the floor if you're laying flat. Palm behind the ear. Here we go. Lift the elbow, extend, rotate around. Relax at the bottom, lift. Extend the arm, rotate. Bring the elbow down. So when your hand is by your ear, your palm is facing your head. And when your hand is by your hip, your palm is facing up towards the ceiling. You want to try and keep that elbow lifted as long as you can. And make sure you lift it up nice and high each time before you straighten the arm. Keep your hand in a fist. One more rep. Finish with your hand back up by your ear. And then we're going to switch over to the other side. Rotate so you can see me. Forehead flat if you're laying on the floor. Here we go, hand behind the ear, lift the elbow, extend, keep the arm lifted as high as you can as you rotate, and get those knuckles to your hip. Now, if you hear or feel a bunch of cracking or popping, that's okay, as long as you don't have any pain. We are trying to rotate that joint. It's a ball and socket joint. So you might hear it kind of like creaking or doing some pops. As long as you don't feel any pain and you're just taking it nice and slow and gentle, that is totally fine. If you do get in a position where you feel some sharp pain, just maybe don't lift your arm as high. Don't go into that full position. Or maybe you need to skip this one and just move on to the next. Finish up your last rep, hand coming behind the ear. And then we're gonna roll onto our backs. Now you can keep your knees bent if laying flat on your back does not feel good. That's totally fine. Start with those arms at 90 degrees. Pushing your forearms down to the floor. Slowly slide them up and overhead. Bring them back down. Keeping your elbows pushed down, rotate, slide. Pull up, rotate, slide. And we're going back and forth between these two movements. Again, if you don't want to go on the floor, you can do this standing up against a wall. Motion's going to be the same. If you're finding this super, super easy and you have a foam roller or a half roller, you can lay with your spine along the foam roller and you're going to feel the stretch really, really good there. Trying to bring your elbows down to the floor on an elevated surface. That will really emphasize the stretch. Finish up this last rep. And we're going to roll back around, either kneeling or laying flat, and do our last shoulder car. Okay, I'm going to do kneeling this time. Face this way so you can see a different angle. Find a flat back or laying flat on the floor. Here we go. Hands behind the ear, lift the elbow, extend, rotate, rotate, rotate. Hand comes behind the hip, extend, rotate around. And you're trying to keep that elbow lifted as high as you can, that arm lifted as high as you can at all times. Again, kneeling in all fours is going to be easier than on the floor, just because you have some more space. If it's a wrist issue, you can always make a fist, hold on your knuckles like that. Sometimes that can help take the pressure off the wrist and feel good. Otherwise, try laying down on the floor. Finish up your final rep. And we're going to go ahead and switch sides. Start with that fist behind the ear. You're lifting the elbow high, extend, rotate around. Once it gets behind the hip, you lift, extend, rotate. Lift, extend, rotate. Make sure you're keeping that elbow high until you get your hand back into position, and then you can drop it down. Same thing, make sure you lift that elbow up nice and high before you start to extend the arm. Finish up your last rep. And then come back to center, flip around onto your back. Like I said, if you have a long or short foam roller, you can do this stretch on there. If you do have a short foam roller, what I like to do is lay with my hips on the foam roller up to like my mid back, and then put a pillow behind my head to support it. Otherwise, you can use a long foam roller like I have here. Just gonna lay your spine on it. Make sure that your head is supported. Otherwise, you're laying on the floor, arms at 90 degrees. Here we go, slide them up. Slide down once you get to 90 degrees. Rotate, slide down. Foam roller is really amazing for this stretch, especially if you sit at a computer all day. This is gonna help stretch through your chest muscles, your pec muscles, the front of your shoulders, and just feel amazing. A great way to decompress. Whether you're on the roller or on the floor, make sure you're always thinking about keeping your forearms pressed down to the floor. And everyone check your low back. Make sure you're not arching. Make sure you're keeping your back flat. Your rib cage is pulled down, not flaring up towards the ceiling. Let's do one more slide. And then when you're done, come back to that goal post position. Okay, we have finished with our mobility segment for today. We're going to end with our last two exercises, which are two strength-based exercises. So I'm going to need you to grab your dumbbells, your soup cans, your band, whatever type of equipment you have at home. Our first exercise is going to be a shoulder press. So I'm going to start with some dumbbells. Starting standing tall. Two options here. If you went through that shoulder mobility and you're like, ooh, these shoulders are a little tight, they are not mobile, I want you to start with your palms facing in towards your head. Otherwise, if it feels more comfortable, you can keep those palms facing out. And we're going to do a shoulder press for 4 rounds, 30 seconds each. Can get my timer going here. We're going to pair that with a can opener. So shoulder press is going to be our first exercise. For our can opener, you're going to grab a band. I'm going to start with my long TheraBand. Bring my hand slightly wider than shoulder width. Bring my shoulders down, pull that band apart and squeeze those shoulder blades together. That's going to be the key here, is keeping the shoulders down while squeezing them together behind your back. It should feel like you're squeezing a pencil in between your shoulder blades. If you don't have a band, you can grab some light dumbbells or some soup cans. And what you're going to do is start with your palms facing you. Lift your hands up, bring them out to the side. So you're in this T shape, squeezing the shoulder blades together and down. So it's going to be lift, pull apart, just like if you had the band, squeezing the blades together and down. Lift, apart, down. Okay, so shoulder press and can opener, those are our two moves. Go ahead and grab your dumbbells or your band, and we are going to get started here in 3, 2, and 1. Shoulder press, starting with those weights stacked over your shoulders, pressing up in a nice straight line. You don't have to rush these strength-based moves. We're working on form and stability. What I want you to do is exhale as you press up. Inhale on the way down. Exhale as you press up. Inhale on the way down. Whenever you bring weight overhead, you want to brace your core. So squeeze your core, exhale. 3, 2, and 1. Grab your band or your cans, can opener in 3, 2, and 1. Pull that band apart, squeeze. If you're using your band, your shoulders are down, you're standing tall. You're trying to pinch a pencil in between your shoulder blades as you pull that band apart. If you're using your cans or light weights, you're lifting, bring those arms out, squeeze the shoulder blades and down. Lift, out, and down. For 3, 2, and 1. We're moving quick, back-to-back exercises here. Grab those dumbbells. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, press it up. Core is tight. Weights are moving in a straight line overhead. Now, if your palms are facing forward and you can't see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes, that means your arms are too far back. You need to bring them forward, but keep those weights over the shoulders. So check your form. Can you see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes? If so, awesome. Keep it going for 3, 2, and 1. Set those weights down. Grab your cans or your band for a can opener going in 3, 2, and 1. Palms face you. Lift, pull apart, down. Lift, pull apart, down. Definitely want some lighter weights for this move. Or if you want to take it heavier, grab a heavy band. Check your shoulders, make sure they're down away from your ears. We don't want to be scrunched up. We got 3, 2, and 1. Nice job with that can opener. If you have a band like this, you can also do a shoulder press with it. Otherwise, grab your dumbbells. We're going in 3, 2, and 1. Same principles apply to the band. You're going to want your palms facing forward if you are using a band, but either way, you're driving that weight up in a straight line. You're exhaling as you push up. Your core is super tight and engaged on the way up, and we're making sure we're not arching back. Check your back on this next one. Are you arching? If so, you need to come back to center, squeeze the core, make sure you're standing tall as you press. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're going back to that can opener. Grab your band, grab your cans. 3, 2, and 1. Pull apart. Squeezing those shoulder blades in the back, keeping those shoulders down. If you don't feel your shoulder blades pinching together, you need to move your hands farther apart on the band. Keep those arms straight and really try to get those blades together. Squeezing. This is our last time doing this move. 3, 2, and 1. All right, back to our press. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Palms are in or palms are out. Exhale, core tight as you press it up. Exhale, core tight. Keep that breath going. If your palms are facing forward, make sure you can see those elbows out the corner of your eyes. Got our last 5 seconds, last time doing this move. 3, 2, and 1. Set those weights down. Sorry, I lied about the can opener. We actually have one more round. Grab your band or your light weights. 3, 2, 1. This is our final move of this movement and mobility. Check those shoulders, keep them down away from the ears, and keep those blades pinching together in the back. Whether you're using your band or your cans or dumbbells. Lift, pull apart, squeeze, down. Last 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set those weights down. That was our last move. Let's go ahead and just roll out those shoulders. Some nice big rolls. Taking it back and reverse it other way. Bring those shoulders around in a big circle. Go ahead and drop the shoulders down. Last thing we'll do is just some nice gentle neck rolls. Start by dropping one ear to one shoulder. Slowly sweep your chin across. Moving all the way around in a nice big circle. Take it slow, drop the ear, drop the chin, sweep across. And on this next one, come back to center and we'll reverse it. Drop the ear, drop the chin, sweep the chin across the chest, ear, chin, ear, chin. You're drawing a really big circle like a dinner plate shape with your chin. Last time, and then come back to center. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first movement and mobility and that your shoulders and your upper back are feeling better. And I hope you come back for the next one.